All right. Hey, everyone. Buckle up because today we're diving deep into some political theory.
Ooh, exciting.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But this one, it's going to be especially useful for our UPSC aspirants
Oh.
out there,
Yeah.
especially those of you who are focusing on international relations. We're going to be looking at Sheldon Wolin.
Oh, Sheldon Wolin. A fascinating thinker.
He really is. I mean, he kind of shook things up in the field of political theory.
He did.
And, one of the things that I find so fascinating about him is that he saw political theory not just as this, academic exercise, but as a way of seeing the
Yeah.
world.
He had this idea that political theorists could be like artists,
Oh, wow.
using their unique perspectives, their vision,
Yeah.
to create a powerful and even, you could say, aesthetic understanding of politics.
Okay, so we're not just talking about, crunching numbers and,
No.
analyzing data.
Not just data,
It's about something more.
much more.
It's about developing a sort of vision for politics.
Exactly.
Inter-
Wolin, he used the term esemplastic power
Okay.
to describe this ability to shape and illuminate the political landscape through imaginative thinking. Think of it like this. Imagine someone like Gandhi, deeply rooted in his understanding of nonviolence, right?
Yeah.
And how he completely reshaped the political landscape of India.
Oh, wow.
That's esemplastic power in action.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
Now, for our UPSC folks who are, prepping for all those intricacies of international relations,
Right.
right, how can they develop this kind of vision?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I
Yeah.
mean, developing this kind of political vision, it requires a deep dive. You're going to have to dive deep
It's
into history, culture, understanding the motivations of different actors on the world stage.
Yeah, it's like you have to
You can't just look at
the
the
immediate situation. You need to
Yeah.
be able to step back from the immediate crisis
the bigger picture.
and see the bigger picture, the long-term trends.
Yeah, the ripple effects of actions taken. Think about issues like global poverty or climate change, these massive global complex issues.
Mhm.
They demand this kind of visionary thinking to even begin to find solutions.
I like that. And, speaking of big complex issues that need a new way of looking at them, Wolin also had this idea of epic theory.
Right, yes.
And I think this is especially relevant to what we're talking about.
Absolutely. He argued that epic theory arises during these periods of upheaval and completely reshapes how we understand political systems.
Oh,
We're not talking about minor tweaks here.
This is big stuff.
Fundamental shifts
Yeah.
in thinking. Think about the emergence of liberalism
Right.
after the World Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Or the rise of environmentalism in response to the climate crisis.
Right, yeah.
These are examples of how epic theories come about during these critical junctures
Turning points.
in history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So instead of just fixing, a leaky faucet,
Right.
we're redesigning the
The
whole
entire plumbing system. Yes. Wow.
big thinking.
And these epic theories,
Right.
they tackle problems that affect everyone,
Okay.
not just a select few.
Absolutely. He believed that epic theory wasn't about some, ivory tower debates
Yeah.
detached from reality. No, it was about addressing issues that impacted the entire community.
The public can.
Public concern, yeah.
That's what he meant by that.
Exactly.
That public concern element.
Now, connect that back to the UPSC syllabus and real-world international relations, the challenges we face, conflicts, poverty, climate change. These aren't just academic problems.
It is a real.
They have real-world consequences for everyone.
Yeah. I mean, some might say that applying epic theory to these big real-world issues is impractical.
Well, yeah. Some might say it's all well and good in theory, but difficult to put into practice.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do we...
Well, it's a valid point, and it's where the real challenge lies.
Okay.
Wolin would argue that while these challenges are complex, interconnected, we need new ways of thinking about them.
Yeah.
New frameworks to guide our actions.
Okay, so new ways of thinking.
And that's where epic theory provides a roadmap,
Okay.
a way to tackle those root causes and think bigger about solutions.
Now, there's another piece of Wolin's thinking that I always found intriguing.
Yeah.
And that's his focus on the role of the past
The past.
and understanding the present.
Yeah.
He saw a strong connection there.
He absolutely did.
Yeah.
Wolin argued that engaging with the history of political thought, it wasn't just about memorizing old ideas, dates, and names.
Right.
It was about using the past as a lens
Oh, lens too.
to understand the present.
Look at present.
He believed that past theories
Yeah.
could provide a grammar and vocabulary
Yeah, interesting.
from understanding current events.
Okay, so for our, UPSC aspirants listening, how can they actually use this? How can they apply the history of political thought to analyze something as complex as contemporary international relations?
Good question.
Yeah.
Let's take the concept of the balance of power.
A cornerstone of international relations.
Yeah.
This concept has roots going all the way back to ancient Greece.
Wow.
Understanding how this concept has evolved over time, how it's been applied in different historical contexts, it offers valuable insights into how it operates in today's world.
So it's almost like we're using history as a map
A map, yeah.
to navigate the present.
Precisely.
Wow.
It's about recognizing that the challenges we face today, like navigating the rise of new global powers or managing international conflicts, they have echoes in the past.
Yeah.
By studying how those challenges were addressed before we can glean insights and apply those lessons to the present.
Now, Wolin was also known for his critique of what he called scientism in political theory.
Yeah.
This is something he really spoke out against.
Yes, he was wary of the overemphasis on scientific methods in political theory.
Really?
Arguing that it could lead to a loss of this critical dimension. Yeah. He felt that striving for pure objectivity and detachment could sometimes be a problem.
Well, that seems kind of counterintuitive, though, right?
Yeah, I can see why you'd say that.
I mean, how could being objective be
Yeah,
a
right.
bad thing?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that what we strive for?
Sure.
Especially in a field like international relations,
That's
where things are...
very logical.
Yeah.
It's a complex issue.
Yeah.
Wolin believed that political theory shouldn't just describe the world as it is.
Okay.
It should also question it, critique it.
Right.
He felt that the ethic of science, as he called it,
Okay.
with its emphasis on neutrality,
Yeah.
could sometimes prevent theorists from taking a strong moral
Oh,
or
okay.
critical stance.
So it's about finding that balance
Oh, yes.
between being analytical,
Right.
but also having a moral compass.
Exactly. And I imagine that's especially important in international relations where power dynamics are always at play.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. For instance, we consider the issue of human rights, right?
Yeah.
A purely objective analysis. It might simply describe the different legal frameworks and
Right.
state practices.
Oh, yeah.
But Wolin would argue that we also need to critically evaluate those practices
Right.
to question whether they truly uphold human dignity and justice.
So it's not just about observing the game.
Right.
It's about understanding the
The
rules,
rules.
the players, and whether the game itself is fair.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And that's why I think Wolin's ideas are so relevant for you, for our listeners, our UPSC aspirants,
Yeah.
especially those focusing on international relations.
Yeah.
You need to be able to analyze complex situations, absolutely, but
Right.
you also need to develop a strong moral compass.
A sense of right and wrong.
Yes, a sense of what's right and wrong to navigate those ethical challenges of
Yeah.
the global arena.
It's tricky out there.
It is.
Yeah. This has been a fascinating discussion so far.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it.
Me too. We've covered so much.
We have. I mean, we've looked at Wolin's concept of political vision.
Yeah.
We've talked about the importance of epic theory
Right.
in times of crisis.
Yeah.
His emphasis on learning from the past.
Right. All that historical knowledge.
Yeah.
And then his critique of an over-reliance on just pure objectivity.
Not getting lost in the data.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a lot to unpack, but I really think it's so relevant.
Oh, it's incredibly relevant.
For anyone who's trying to make sense of what's going on in the world today
Absolutely.
in terms of international relations, for sure.
It is.
Yeah, and I think a key takeaway here
Yeah.
is that political theory, when applied thoughtfully,
Right.
can be an incredibly powerful tool.
Oh, for sure. It's not just about abstract ideas. It's
Yeah.
about providing a framework for understanding
And shaping.
and shaping the world around us.
So it's not just about analyzing the world as it is. It's about being active participants
Just participants, yes.
and shaping it.
That's powerful.
And that's a powerful message for our listeners,
It is.
many of whom are preparing to step into roles where they can have a real impact on global affairs.
Wolin would certainly agree with that.
Yeah.
He argued that theorists shouldn't just be observers, they should be agents of change.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, he believed that theory should be used to challenge the status quo,
Yeah.
to advocate for justice,
Wow.
and to inspire action.
So for our UPSC aspirants listening, how can they connect this back
to their studies,
To their studies.
to their future careers.
Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, I would say don't underestimate the power of ideas.
Yeah.
Studying political theory,
Yeah.
particularly someone like Wolin, who challenged conventions,
Right.
can equip you with the intellectual tools
Oh, okay.
to analyze complex issues and make
Yeah.
informed decisions.
Okay.
It can help you develop that crucial political vision we talked about earlier.
So it's not just about memorizing facts for the exam.
No, not just for the
Yeah.
exam.
It's about
All
developing
but developing a way of thinking, a way of seeing the world that will serve you well
throughout your career.
throughout your career. Absolutely. Think of it like this.
Okay.
The UPSC syllabus is like a roadmap, right?
Okay.
Guiding you through key concepts and historical events.
Okay.
But Wolin's work, it provides you with a lens,
A lens.
a way of interpreting that roadmap
Wow.
and applying it to the real world.
And speaking of applying it to the real world, Wolin believed that theory should be used to address real-world problems.
Real-world problems.
He talked about how epic theories
Yeah.
arise during times of crisis.
Right.
So what are some of the major crises
Oh, my goodness.
facing international relations today?
Where do we even begin?
Yeah, where can our listeners start applying these epic ideas?
That's a great question, and one that I think every UPSC aspirant should be asking themselves.
Yeah.
Look at the challenges we're facing.
Mm-hmm.
Climate change, global inequality, rising nationalism,
Yeah.
the erosion of democratic norms, the threat of nuclear proliferation.
It's all right.
These are not small, isolated issues.
They're all connected.
They are interconnected, complex problems that demand big, bold, visionary solutions.
They demand that epic theory.
They demand what Wolin called epic theory.
Yeah, and when we talk about epic theory,
Yeah.
we're talking about ideas that
Yeah.
address the root causes
Causes
of these problems. Right.
Not just symptoms.
Yeah.
We're talking about
Ideas that impact everyone.
exactly
Yeah.
that deal with the public concern
Yeah.
at the heart of these challenges.
So we need to be looking beyond
Yeah.
those short-term fixes.
Beyond the Band-Aid solutions.
Yeah, we need to think about how to restructure.
Restructure systems, change the rules of the game.
Yeah,
That's what epic theory is about.
big stuff.
Big thinking.
So for our listeners who are, preparing for the UPSC,
Right.
how can they start?
How can they start cultivating that epic mindset?
Yeah.
Well, it starts with being curious.
Okay. Asking difficult questions
Yeah.
and challenging assumptions.
Don't just take things at face value.
Yeah. Don't just accept what you read.
Yeah.
It's about looking beyond the headlines.
Dig deeper.
Digging deeper, yes.
Yeah.
Into the underlying causes of these problems. It's about considering multiple perspectives and not be afraid to challenge conventional wisdom.
So challenge yourself.
Challenge yourself.
Here, listeners.
Don't just accept the status quo.
Don't be complacent.
Use Wolin's ideas
Use these tools.
as a springboard to develop your own critical thinking skills.
Exactly. And as you delve deeper into the UPSC syllabus,
Right.
think about how Wolin's ideas can inform your understanding of those topics.
How can we apply his concept of political vision to understanding the changing dynamics of global power?
Yeah, great question.
How can his critique of scientism inform our approach to data-driven policymaking in international relations?
These are questions worth pondering.
They are.
What stands out to you, dear listener?
Yeah, think about it. As you reflect on all we've discussed today,
What resonated with you?
which of Wolin's ideas resonated most strongly? And how might you apply those ideas to the challenges you'll face
In your own career.
in your own careers?
We encourage you to explore those questions further.
Yeah.
Dive deeper into Wolin's work
Yeah.
and see how his ideas can inform your own understanding.
Your unique
Of
perspective.
the world
It's like Wolin's giving us this toolkit
toolkit.
filled with all these powerful concepts,
Powerful concepts.
and it's up to us to figure out how to use them to build a better world.
That's a fantastic analogy.
Yeah.
He's providing the framework,
Yeah.
the intellectual scaffolding.
Right.
And then it's up to each of us to use those tools to analyze,
Yeah.
critique, and ultimately try to improve the world around us.
And that's a challenge I think our listeners are ready to take on.
Oh, I agree.
After all,
Yeah.
they're choosing to dedicate themselves to public service,
Public service, yes.
to tackling some of the toughest issues in international relations.
They are, and I have no doubt they'll make a significant contribution.
Me too.
Remember, Wolin argued that theorists shouldn't just analyze the world.
Yeah.
They should try to change it.
I like that. It's a call to action,
It is a call to action.
especially for those who aspire to shape the future of international relations.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up this deep dive
Okay.
into the world of Sheldon Wolin,
Wonderful.
what's the one key takeaway you hope our listeners will carry with them?
I think, more than anything, I hope they take away the idea that political theory matters.
It matters.
It matters. It's not just an academic exercise.
It's real life.
It's a way of understanding and engaging with the world around us.
Yeah.
And when applied thoughtfully, it can be a powerful tool for positive change.
It's like Wolin is saying, don't just study the world. Go out there and make it better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He believed that we all have a responsibility to use our knowledge and our political vision to create a more just and equitable world.
And that's a message that resonates deeply.
I think so.
Particularly for those embarking on a career in international relations.
Absolutely.
This has been a truly enlightening deep dive. I feel like I've not only gained a deeper understanding of Wolin's ideas,
Me too.
but also like a renewed sense of purpose.
Yes.
In terms of how to apply those ideas to the challenges
the real world
facing our world today.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure unpacking these complex, but so relevant.
But incredibly relevant concepts of view.
Yes.
And I hope our listeners,
our amazing listeners,
have found it equally stimulating and thought-provoking.
I have no doubt.
So to our amazing UPSC aspirants out there,
Yes.
as you continue on your journey,
Yes.
remember Wolin's word.
Powerful words.
Engage with the world.
Yeah.
Challenge the status quo.
Don't settle.
And never stop striving for a better future.
And don't forget that the tools and frameworks we've discussed today,
Yes.
these are just the beginning. The beginning. Yeah.
Keep exploring, keep learning.
Keep diving deep and keep applying these ideas to the complex world
Of international relations. We're excited to see the impact
I know.
you'll make on the world.
And of course, if you enjoyed this deep dive into Sheldon Wolin, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast.
Yeah, hit that subscribe button.
And share it with your fellow UPSC aspirants.
Spread the word.
We're always here to support you.
Yes, we are.
On your journey.
To becoming the future leaders.
Becoming the future leaders of global affairs.
Until next time.
Yes.
Keep diving deep.
Keep diving deep.
We'll see you soon.
Bye. And this brings us back to Wolin's critique of scientism.
Right.
It's not that he dismissed data or objective analysis.
Yeah.
He just cautioned against letting it eclipse the crucial role of values and ethics in political theory, especially when we're grappling with these big questions of international relations.
Yeah, you can have all the data in the world about a conflict. But without that moral compass.
Without a moral compass.
Those numbers
aren't going to tell you what the right course of action should be.
It can't tell you what to do.
Precisely.
Right.
And this tension between objective analysis and a moral stance, it plays out in so many contemporary debates.
Oh, yeah.
Within international relations.
Give me an example.
Think about the discussions surrounding humanitarian intervention.
Okay, yeah.
Do we intervene in another country's internal affairs to prevent human rights abuses?
Right.
Even if it means violating their sovereignty?
That's tough.
There's no easy answer, and it's a question that requires both careful analysis and a strong sense of ethical responsibility.
It really is. It's like Wolin is giving us a framework, not just for understanding like the what of international relations, but also the why.
The why.
And the how.
The how should we act?
Yeah, exactly. How should we act?
He was pushing us to move beyond simply describing the world as it is.
Right.
And into the realm of asking how it ought to be.
Yeah, how can we make it better?
And for you, our future diplomats and policymakers.
Our listeners.
That's a vital skill to hone.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is. It's about how we should act in the world.
Right, right.
Not just how things are.
Yeah.
It's a big question.
It is. It is. And this has been such a fascinating discussion.
It has.
We've covered so much. You know, we talked about Wolin's concept of political vision.
That's right, yeah.
And we talked about epic theory.
How can we forget epic theory?
And how important that is in times of crisis.
Absolutely, yeah.
We talked about how crucial it is to learn from the past.
Right.
And then we got into his critique of relying too heavily on pure objectivity.
Yeah, yeah.
Which can be a problem.
It can. It can lead us astray, I think.
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot to unpack.
It is.
But I think it's incredibly relevant.
Oh, it's so relevant.
For anyone Really? Who's trying to make sense of international relations today?
Especially for our listeners who are going to be
Shaping the future.
shaping the future. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the key takeaway here,
The big one.
the big one,
Yeah.
is that political theory,
It matters.
it really matters. When applied thoughtfully,
Right.
it's not just an academic exercise.
Yeah.
It can be an incredibly powerful tool.
It can change things.
It can change things. It can change the world.
It can change the world.
For the better.
For the better, yeah. That's what we want.
That's what we hope for.
So it's not just about analyzing the world.
Yeah.
It's about being active participants in shaping it.
Yes, exactly.
And that's, I think, such a powerful message for our listeners.
Absolutely.
Many of whom are preparing to step into those roles where they can have a real impact on global affairs.
They are. They are the future.
Yeah.
And Wolin would be so excited to see what they accomplish.
I think so.
He argued that theorists shouldn't just be observers,
Right.
Sitting back, taking notes.
Right, in the ivory tower.
He said they should be agents of change.
Agents of change, I love that.
He believed that theory should be used to challenge the status quo,
To shake things up.
to shake things up,
Yeah.
to advocate for justice.
And inspire action.
Yes.
Wow. So for our UPSC aspirants out there listening,
Yeah.
how can they connect all of this back to their study
Back to their studies.
and their future careers?
Well, first and foremost, I would say, never underestimate the power of ideas.
Ideas are powerful.
They are incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
Studying political theory, especially someone like Wolin, who
Right.
challenged conventions,
Yeah.
it can equip you with these intellectual tools.
It's a toolkit.
It is like a toolkit
Yeah.
to analyze complex issues, to
Right.
understand different perspectives,
Yeah.
and to make informed decisions.
So it's not just about memorizing facts and figures for an exam.
No, not at all.
It's about developing
It's about developing a way of thinking, a way of seeing the world
a political vision
that will serve you well,
throughout your career, not just in the exam.
not just in the exam, throughout your life, really.
Wolin would approve.
You would?
Okay,
Very
so as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of Sheldon Wolin,
I can't believe it's over.
I know, it's gone by so fast.
It really has.
What's the one key takeaway
The one thing,
you hope our listeners will carry with them?
more than anything, I hope they take away this idea that political theory matters.
Yeah, man.
It matters. It's not just an academic exercise.
Right.
It's a way of understanding and engaging with the world around us.
Yeah.
And when applied thoughtfully, it can be a powerful tool for positive change.
It's like Wolin is saying, don't just study the world.
Right.
Go out there and make it better.
Exactly. He believed that we all have a responsibility to use our knowledge,
Right.
to use our political vision to create a more just and equitable world.
And that message resonates deeply,
I think so.
especially for those who are embarking on a career in international relations.
Absolutely. There are so many challenges out there.
There are.
And also so many opportunities to make a difference.
This has been such an enlightening deep dive.
I've really enjoyed it.
Me too. I feel like I've not only gained a deeper understanding of Wolin's ideas,
Yeah.
but also like a renewed sense of purpose
Oh, me too.
in terms of how to apply those ideas to the challenges facing our world today.
It's been a pleasure unpacking these
Complex,
complex but incredibly relevant
they are relevant.
concepts with you.
And I hope our listeners have found it equally stimulating
Yes, I hope so.
and thought-provoking.
So, to our amazing UPSC aspirants out there,
You got this.
as you continue on this journey,
Yeah.
remember Wolin's words.
Powerful words.
Engage with the world,
Don't be passive.
challenge the status quo,
Shake things up.
and never stop striving for a better future.
And don't forget, the tools and frameworks we've discussed today, these are just the beginning.
The beginning.
Keep exploring.
Yeah.
Keep learning.
Keep asking questions.
and keep applying these ideas
Yes.
to this complex world of international relations.
We can't wait to see what you accomplish.
I know, me too.
Yeah.
We're so excited to see the impact that you'll make on the world.
You are the future.
And of course, if you enjoyed this deep dive into Sheldon Wolin,
Yeah, if you found it helpful,
hit that subscribe button.
subscribe to our podcast and share it with your fellow UPSC aspirants.
Let's spread the word
We're always here to support you on your journey.
to becoming the future leaders of global affairs.
Until next time,
Keep diving deep.
keep diving deep.
We'll see you soon.